I'm not a cop. I don't work with police department.
Well, you did just solve the 2Pac case. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna give it up to Vlad and those of you saying that not clapping. Let me go ahead and just tell you. Okay?
I'm not gonna wear that, by the way.
I'm a civilian. I ain't in the hip hop world. I tip my toe in it. I tip out. But I'm a civilian. Let me say this. You recently got credited for solving the 2Pac murder case with the whole KVD interview, but that information you were involved with that years ago, right? Didn't you do an interview years ago?
The interview was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you should have got the credit 4 years ago for doing it.
Well, but the arrest happened 4 years later.
Right.
Right. So shout out to Greg Kading. He's the one that actually got the confession, which was like maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I'm not exactly sure when. That resurfaced maybe around 5 years ago. So I'd already known that Orlando had killed 2Pac or was heavily involved in that situation since like 2007 or something like that.
And he's been dead for a while.
Yeah, Orlando's dead. And Keefe's the last surviving person in that car. So, I knew about the confessions, which kind of coincided with a lot of the other stories that I did because I interviewed the first responder, I interviewed the guy behind the car.
How do you find all these people?
You find them, man. You research, you watch documentaries, you watch other interviews, you get a hold of people, you talk to people. It's a whole thing. There's relationships, there's people that know people. And I knew someone who knew Keefe D. So we got in contact and Keefe D had just written a book. And that book was the basis of that interview.
But did he reach out to you to have the conversation?
Well, we reached out to him, and then the co-writer of the book hit me back.
Right.
So they're putting out a book. So
and they want to promote it.
They want to promote it. So we're going to talk about what's in the book.
Yeah.
And we talked about what's in the book, and that pretty much told the whole story from beginning to end right there. But things move slowly. And I think over time, Las Vegas PD started to really understand and started to watch the interviews and so forth and been like, okay, well, at that point, I think they felt they had enough to actually arrest somebody.
I don't think people understand because we live in a new world. Those of you who are in your 20s or whatever, 2Pac and Biggie's murder. First of all, 2Pac and Biggie, biggest rap stars on the planet at one point.
Yeah.
And the East Coast, West Coast beef, which those of us that are 46, 50 lived through, which it was a real thing that you could feel in the air. Yeah. The biggest of all time, you had Suge on the West Coast. If you saw the Source of Work clips, you know what that is. And then Diddy, who was a marketing genius and rose really fast on the East Coast with Bad Boy. So Bad Boy and Death Row became this thing where people were afraid to go to different coasts because, you could get killed. People were getting threatened.
So Gaddafi got killed after 2Pac died.
Okay.
Because some of his friends were playing around with guns and accidentally.
Okay, so none of them were killed in relation to. Okay, no. But people in both camps started to just. I don't know. Maybe they were just dying.
I mean, Wolf. Right? Okay, hold on. So one of Suge's close friends got killed. I forgot what his name was, but Puffy's main bodyguard, Wolf, allegedly killed him. Wolf is dead, by the way, which is why you could talk about this. And that kind of created a whole bad situation. Wolf later on was killed by BMF during the shootout. He pulled the gun out first and so forth. So there was murders that were starting to occur.
But then the two biggest stars of the whole movie died.
Yes.
Were murdered.
Yes.
2Pac, we've seen Faith talk about Biggie's murder. We've seen Biggie's mom talk about Biggie's murder. We've seen people want to know when are these going to be solved.
Good day, this OB Media. Jason Lee goes crazy and he asks Vlad if he's a cop. Because where does Vlad get all of these information about 2Pac and Biggie Smalls? This is just crazy. Jason Lee is saying that Vlad solved 2Pac murder and all along anyone can get indicted for this shit. Everyone is saying that Puffy is involved, a lot of theories and a lot of conspiracy. But KVD be snitching and now the trial is going on. So we're gonna know who's the real culprit in this situation, who we got to hold accountable for the demise of 2Pac Shakur. So I don't think Vlad solved anything. Vlad just give everyone an eye opener. So he play a big role in this hip hop industry, man. All of the snitching culture, everyone go on Vlad TV when they want want to snitch. So Keefe D is just a rat to me. But it is what it is, man. You need to watch a full video. Let's get it.
Tupac's murder then gets solved.
Well, he hasn't
convicted
there's no
yet.
Conviction yet. Yeah,
The man is in jail.
yeah, with no bond.
Charged with the fact that he was in the car that led to the death of Tupac Shakur. Correct. Stop downplaying your accomplishment. You helped solve, through your interview, through your work, one of the biggest mysteries in hip hop history, with one of the biggest artists ever. How did that feel when you saw that happen?
I mean, it didn't feel like anything to me because I felt like 4 years ago I'd already done it. But then people around me were like, "Yo, this is a big deal." Like, Pierce Morgan reached out and wanted to do an interview. I'm like, "Oh, okay. I guess this is a big deal." You know, and to me it wasn't, because I'd already done what I planned to do, which was to lay it all out and with all the details. But once the arrest happened, the rest of the world found out about it. Because like, I could be around an army of non-hip hop fans and nobody will know who I am. But if I'm in like a hip hop room, everyone in that room will know who I am. So, you know, I'm not a mainstream celebrity by any stretch of the imagination. So my world, I sometimes have blinders on and I don't understand what exactly my role is in all this. But when other people and when it became mainstream, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it is a really big deal.
Yeah, but also earlier in the interview, you talked about how you weren't really validated for the work and the accomplishments and like the impact that you've had. This is a major impact on the culture because all of us love Tupac.
Yeah.
So I really see the interesting intersection of like, you're the police, you're a culture vulture, but oh my God, you're the king for solving this iconic mystery. Yeah. And like in all of that, you're still humble enough to say, well, I guess it's a bit like I would have been outside with a Tupac shirt on, you know, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a full circle because remember I told you the mixtape, yeah. Exactly. That was my first sort of crack into hip hop. You know, when I cracked into sort of the industry was that Tupac mixtape. To go, and I remember when I first met Edie from the Outlaws, who's still a very good friend of mine. I remember when I first met him, he said, you know how many of these mixtapes I've signed over the years? Like everywhere I go, people would bring me these mixtapes for autographs. So to put so much effort, because Tupac was essentially my favorite artist, to start out and have the recognition of creating this piece of art around Tupac to eventually helping to solve his murder was like dope.
Yeah.
Like I dig it.
He was one of my favorite also. We actually honored him at the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards this year. His sister came and accepted on his behalf. And I know Layla Steinberg and Ray Love pretty well.
Yeah, I talked to Ray Love recently.
So Keefe D, did he say that Diddy offered him $1 million to kill Tupac?
So, I mean, in so many words, there was a meeting at a deli on Sunset with, according to Keefe, between Puffy, Keefe, some other guys, where, you know, in a moment of frustration, Puffy may have said something to the effect of like, I'll pay $1 million to make these guys go away. I don't know how serious he was. I don't know if it's even true. And according to Keefe, after the shooting occurred, he claims that Puffy called him and said, was that us? Once again, don't know if it's true. Now, it gets a little more interesting because according to Keefe, the gun that was provided for that shooting was by a guy named Eric Von Zip. Eric Von Zip was this Harlem hustler who definitely knew Keefe. You know, me and TK talked. TK Kirkland was like living with him for a long period of time.
Keefe?
With Eric Von Zip.
Oh, wow.
Him and Eric Von Zip were super close. They actually owned a house together and lived in that house. Eric Von Zip was also very close with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson told me the story about how they ripped off Don King for like $300,000 one night. So he was like a hustler who was known to rob people, right? So the story, according to Greg Kading and Keefe, was that Puffy gave $1 million to Eric Von Zip that was supposed to go to Keefe. But where it gets murky is allegedly Eric Von Zip kept that money and opened up a nightclub called Von Zip's. Eric Von Zip is dead, by the way. He died of cancer. So whatever money they say was used to pay for the murder of Tupac never made it to the actual murderers, which is good for Puffy. Even if it actually happened. I don't know whether all this is made up. You know what I'm saying? the chances of Puffy actually getting convicted for all this is almost zero. So whether it's true, whether it's not true, who knows?
Well, he's Brother Love now. I mean, he's in the Love era. And, it's interesting how just like decades of mystery is now just forming into these new things. And with social media and people coming forward, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. When King Von, he died, it's been 3 years now. Asian Doll was mad at you or mad at your company for the interview that happened. And she basically went off, whatever. What was she mad about?
Who knows?
When you all are reporting on the deaths of hip hop stars, because it's a part of the culture, it's a part of that work that you're doing. How do you approach that? And are there parameters, sensitivities, or is it just like whatever's out there, we're going to get into it? Because I really feel how you approach it and how academics approach it is very different.
I mean, look, I gave my opinion. I mean, with the Asian Doll situation, it was a little weird because in the beginning, she started saying that King Von, like, called her or texted her and said, like the people around me allowed me to get killed and all this other type of stuff. And I interviewed Von's manager, 100K Track, who was there, who got shot. And he was like, this never happened. No, he didn't contact Asian Doll or whatever else. And then suddenly, it came to me in a dream. And then it's like suddenly she's Queen Von, and then she's got King Von tattoos on her face and everything else like that. And I was just like, listen, I understand that this is someone you cared about. I mean, they were broken up at the time, from what I understand. But I understand, but they still each other and everything like that. But it was just like, you can mourn someone, but when you start making up stories about what happened and then have to double back and say that, oh no, this came to me in a dream or whatever else, I just thought it was a bit much. So I made comments about it, and she took it personally. So, I think when Shirley Jew interviewed her, she showed up and was and then stormed out. But from what I understand, which was actually kind of funny because I wasn't even there, right? I find out about it after the fact.
It's almost how Birdman did Charlemagne, where he said, put some respect on my name and then stormed out.
But I guess like Shirley works with a bunch of weed companies, and there was all these weed things that they gave her. Asian Doll. So after Asian Doll basically cussed out the camera, and I'm not there, she grabbed all the weed stuff and stormed out the door, but the door was locked, so she couldn't get out the door.
Did you guys film that?
No, we did it. We didn't even put it out. She put it out herself. It was kind of like a setup for her to, I don't know.
So do you think all that when they do that, because we live in this social media era now where clout is a drug and promoting stuff requires you to be creative and go viral. Do you think it was clout? Do you think that was her way of handling her trauma? What did you think that was?
It was definitely clout. Yeah. I mean, if she had a problem with me, she could have talked to me. I wasn't even there. Mm-hmm. I think if I was there, I don't think it would have happened because I have a different type of energy. Mm-hmm. I'm saying this is a little Asian girl that she's basically screaming next to, what I mean? So it was just a little weird. Yeah. I think from what Shirley told me also was that, because the thing is Asian Doll, I gave her one of her first interviews. I have nothing against Asian Doll. I gave her one of her first interviews. She even used part of my interview in one of her songs. Mm-hmm. And we were supposed to do another interview and she just didn't show up. And then when someone had commented, why don't you interview Asian Doll? I said, well, we did, but she didn't show up. And she was like, my bad, LOL, or something. So she didn't, she was basically just around wasting everyone's time. But she only did the interview when she found out I wasn't going to do it. So I think she just took advantage of Shirley doing it to try to get her rocks off in whatever way she wants to. But it was weird because I have nothing against Asian Doll. What I'm saying? I actually thought it would have been an interesting interview because she really was with King Von, from people around him, they really did care about each other. And even after they did break up, he would still pay for her flights and they kind of kept in touch and everything. And I think it's awful that someone you care about dies violently so young. But my comments are my comments. And ultimately, if you want to go and say outlandish things like he texted me and people are taking this for fact because you really are connected to that person, people are going to comment about it. But everyone wants to say, oh, you're it's your fault. You should have said that and so forth. And I understand. I say what I say. I stand behind it.
So that interview never aired. What other interviews have you done?
It wasn't an interview. She just yelled into the camera and stormed out.
And that was it?
That was it.
So she came all the way down, did that, and left.
To just do that.
Asian, you a damn fool. Okay, have you had interviews that you filmed that haven't aired?
I mean, there was this, I'm trying to think. Not really, but we don't really, I mean, there's certain things that we don't do. Like I remember Ugly God stormed out of his interview this one time. And,
Ugly God.
Ugly God, yeah, it's rapper. He was super hot at one point.
I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody's allowed to call DJ Vlad a culture vulture because he know more about this shit than I do. There's an Ugly God out there.
There's an Ugly God, yeah. He stormed out of the interview and we just didn't air that part. But me and him talked afterwards and he explained to me he's just going through a lot of depression and stuff. Like he apologized off camera and so forth. And he's been kind of going through it. So there are certain things that we don't want to be known as the platform where you just wild out and disrespect the host.
That's Adam 22. We gonna let y'all have.
Adam likes that shit.
Yes.
I mean, Charlamagne likes that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that I would just cut out because I'm not trying to be known in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I feel like we all have our thing. That's not my thing either.
We all have our thing.
I was with Adam 22 last night. Adam 22 said, "You're the GOAT." I mean, he said that. And I love the fact that he, you know, we're all competitive, I guess, by nature because we're in the business, but we're not competing.
Right. But if you look at my history, I've embraced all the new content creators. Like you.
Yeah.
I reached out to you
before I became where I am now, though.
Exactly.
We had dinner years ago. You and the owner of Hip Hop DX at the time.
Right, Tommy.
Yeah.
But this is my track record. The first person to give Charlamagne a nationwide look in South Carolina was me. I put him on this Beef mixtape I was working on with Beef on the Beef DVD. Like he called me like, "Yo, this is the first time." This is before Wendy found him. Not to say that he's not talented because he is, but I was the first person to notice him.
You discovered Charlamagne.
I didn't discover Charlamagne. He was already on the radio in South Carolina, but I'm the one to find the stuff he was doing in South Carolina and put it on a mixtape that was internationally distributed. Sean Cotton from Say Cheese, Adam 22, Academics. These are all people that I saw their potential early and I would reach out to them and I built relationships with them and I would have them on my platform and would offer to go on their platforms whenever they asked. Math Hoffa, same kind of thing. I was early. His platform started to take off. I was right there being a guest, getting his numbers up. So I'm like that naturally because I feel like we could do so much better working together as opposed to beefing with each other. And there's enough eyeballs to go around. And it's all essentially free content anyway. So if you watch a Vlad TV interview, you could watch a Hollywood Unlocked interview afterwards. It doesn't take away from my interview.
I do have to blame Vlad for something, though. All y'all want y'all to know. All my staff listen. Vlad took me to this nice dinner. We went to Boa, me, him, the owner of the Hip Hop DX. We started talking, and Vlad looks over to me and he goes, "Have you been sued yet?" I'm like, don't ask me no crazy shit like that. No, I ain't been sued. He's like, I said, "Have you been sued?" He's like, "Oh, I've been sued like 20 times. Then the other guy's like, "Yeah, I've been sued." Like, "Yeah, I'm getting sued now." And they're kind of laughing, but talking about how they're being sued. And I'm sitting there with no money. Like, cause you know, I'm on my way. I'm just starting my thing. I'm figuring this out. I'm like, I hope I never get sued because I can't afford it. I've gotten sued so much since then. I don't know if it's your fault or just the industry.
Not my fault.
But once you are in it, you know, but mine has been more like IP infringement, you know, using a photo, that's supposed to whatever. But like being sued is just a part of the process.
It's just part of the business, man.
Have you ever been sued by somebody that you didn't see it coming, like somebody that you really respected or?
Not really, man. I mean, it's just part of the business.
Yeah.
You understand that that a lawsuit is a lawsuit, and just because you settle doesn't mean you're guilty. It just means it's cheaper to settle than to actually go all the way through court. And it's just part of it. You know, and people don't sue broke people. You know, they know there's some money over here, so they sue. It's just part of it. You know, you get sued. Sometimes you have to sue people, and life goes on.
You almost had Hillary Clinton over there. Is politics a part of your thing too?
Did we almost have Hillary? I mean, we've had conversations. I mean, I just had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's running right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So politics is...
I mean, it's everything. Like Vlad TV, you know, because we've never been cool with record label PRs.
They're the worst.
We just haven't.
Do you build your own relationships?
Yeah, but you know, we generally get blocked by the PR at the record labels, which is annoying. And I've kind of lashed out when it comes to this type of situations before, and probably gone overboard sometimes. But like, we've accepted over time that we're not going to be on the media runs for all these major artists because there's someone at the label that's going to block it. They'd rather take them to the LA radio station and get 2,000 views.
Entertainment
on the radio,
Tonight or extra
or whatever. Yeah. It's annoying to watch, but whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we realized that like we can't build our business around these major hip hop, major label artists. So you have to think outside the box.
This interview is interesting, man. They're saying that Vlad is the one that solved 2Pac murder because Keefe D got indicted. Man, that is just wild shit to me. They're still trying to prove that shit. And a lot of people are saying that Puffy is involved. He give Eric Von Zip $1 million to get 2Pac and Suge Knight executed. So I don't know what is really going on, but the trial is getting crazy. And Diddy is being implicated. And once they can prove that Diddy really give $1 million, he's gonna get more time in jail. Probably a life sentence. Because this shit been going on for about 30 years. So we really want some justice for Pac by now. So all of this shit that been going on in hip-hop for a long time, a lot of people are saying that Vlad is a culture vulture. Man, he's doing the right thing for the culture. I don't really agree with everything what Vlad do, but Vlad sometimes he overreact or overdo some shit. But everything that is going on with the old Pac situation, we need to do something about this shit, man. Because no way, both of our legends, 2Pac and Biggie Smalls, are just gonna lose their life and no one is gonna hold accountable for it. And now is the time that Puffy is going down. Imagine if Puffy got 2 murder charges, one for Biggie and one for 2Pac. That would have been crazy. But everything that Puffy was doing in his past, it is just karma coming to bite him in the ass. Shit is getting crazy. But Keefe D is still snitching, and I believe him. I don't think he's lying, because no way I'm gonna do a hit and not get any money, and I'm not gonna talk about this shit. Call yourself Brother Love and everything that you ever love. You don't love nobody. Diddy's only loyal to money. So when Keefe D be talking about the situation and saying that Puff give Eric Von Zip $1 million, and Eric Von Zip was Puff's stepdad because he was seeing his mom. So shit been going on for a long time that people was not talking about. But a lot of people are saying that Keefe D is a rat and he's doing outbursts in court. They're saying that people are going to his address, they're harassing his family. All type of crazy allegations are coming out in this 2Pac trial. So this shit is getting crazy. And Suge Knight know what really happened, and he's not gonna talk about it because he believes in a culture to not snitch. But when they're gonna say that Vlad proved this, man, I don't think it's Vlad. It is just Keefe D like to run his mouth too much. He just be running his mouth in every podcast that he went on. This ninja out of control. He's different than a rat. This ninja is enormous. He's a wolf to me. He's a big rat. You're gonna tell everybody the business and you're gonna say that you're a stone cold gangster and you expect we should believe that? Keefe D is a snitch and he should rot in hell. He needs to stay in jail for all of the things that he was involved in. A lot of people lost their family. A lot of people was mourning because 2Pac was very influential to the music industry and they took him from us. So they need to hold him accountable. But it is what it is, man. It's OB Media. Have a blessed day.
Y'all, I thought the Diddy documentary was a little boring, and I think that tells us a lot about how we construct evil and the way that we create the devil figure to avoid looking at the system. For a character to not fall flat, they need to be making decisions that are surprising to you, that change and evolve, right? This documentary shows decades of decisions, but at every single crossroad, every fork in the road when he could have chosen differently, he picked the same thing. Do you pay your artists or do you exploit their contracts? Exploit. Do you honor your business partners or do you cut them out? You cut them out. Do you respect boundaries or do you violate them? Violate them. Do you mentor someone or exploit them sexually? Exploit them sexually. When someone speaks up, do you listen? Do you silence? Silence. Do you make amends or do you deny an attack? You deny an attack. It's very fucking predictable. And it's true, the devil figure doesn't need elaborate schemes when patriarchy, capitalism, and hierarchical power structures already deliver exploitation on a massive scale. Why bother with clever temptation when you can just be a powerful man in an industry that protects powerful men? The system is already set up to enable exactly this kind of abuse. The devil does not need to be creative when the system is doing the work. Diddy didn't invent this playbook. It's Harvey Weinstein, it's R. Kelly, it's Epstein, it's the Orange Man, it's every megachurch pastor who's been exposed. When we construct the devil figure, we place all the possibilities of evil onto this one figure, the goat, the devil, the bad man, and drive them out so the community doesn't have to change. So we don't have to examine patriarchy, capitalism, white supremacy, empire. We need Satan to carry all of the sins possible so we don't have to dismantle the systems that actually produce this harm. Diddy's whole aesthetic was prosperity gospel without Jesus. The wealth is proof of blessing, of empire building, and his abuse is just what happens when the logic plays out. Some people get blessed, which requires other people to be sacrificed. We want to believe that abusers are exceptionally complex, uniquely evil, monstrous, mysterious. We make them fascinating because if they were just an ordinary man, following ordinary patterns of power, then we have to actually ask the difficult question. What does that say about power itself? We make the devil fascinating to avoid confronting the boring structural violence of the systems that we all participate in. That's the real theological problem. Not that evil exists, but we'd rather create one demon, make one Satan, than look at how these harmful systems consistently produce the same patterns of violence. We create the devil so we don't have to face the God we created out of power itself. Stop centering the abuser. Start dismantling the system. Because the system that produced Diddy is still running, still selecting the next man who will make the same choices. If you enjoyed this, I invite you to join my Patreon community where we are doing monthly deconstruction and reconstruction of women in the Bible. I also teach a course called Faith Deconstruction 101, Leaving the Church Without Losing Yourself. The links are you know where.